Well, let's focus now on what's happening with schools around the country in the last hour. We took you to a school down in Cape Town. We took you to a school up here in Gauteng, particularly with our reporters Silindilo Masekane down in Springs. What's the situation down in KZN as far as schools are concerned and the reopening this morning? The MEC for Education in the province, that being Kwazi Mshengu, keeping a close eye on pupils returning to class, especially in Phoenix, off the back of that violence we saw earlier this month. So what does it look like this morning? Let's go to Lethiwe Mdluli, our reporter on the ground for us this morning. Lethiwe, good morning to you. The school bell, I'm sure, at 8:05 has rung. What does it look like so far this morning?
Good morning, Gareth. So this morning I'm coming to you live from Arlington Secondary School in Phoenix. The schools are reopening during a tough time here in the city. As you know, that in Durban about 2 weeks ago we did experience some unrest. So the MEC for Education in the province, Mr. Kwazi Mshengu, is monitoring the reopening of schools, just making sure that pupils and teachers are feeling safe. We are in Phoenix, a hotspot area during the unrest. We know that around or over 20 people were killed during the unrest. So there's a lot of uncertainty with the reopening of schools. But at the moment, I am joined by the Education MEC in the province, Mr. Kwazi Mshengu. Good morning. Firstly, I just want to know from you, we are reopening the schools during a very tough time. Firstly, can we ensure that pupils and teachers are safe during this time?
Definitely, we are quite happy with the reports that we have received so far since morning. There are no incidents that have been reported, and this attests to the hard work that we have been doing in the past days, basically to engage different stakeholders, to engage the communities about the need to ensure that they protect our learners and they protect our schools. As we have said, that Phoenix is one of those areas that were hard hit by the mayhem that we have seen, but also it's an epicenter of what is called of what other people call the massacre, basically, which resulted from the racial tensions between the African and South Africans of Indian origins. So it was important for us to spend more time here in Phoenix, because there were many fears from parents and learners themselves, both from both communities, to say there may be either continued attack or retaliation, and our responsibility as Department of Education has been to make sure that our schools are safe, they remain a conducive environment for learners of all groupings. And so far, all the schools have successfully opened without any incidents of violence.
What can you say to ensure that the teachers and the pupils are safe, especially here in Phoenix?
Well, within the schooling premises, we've put all the measures and we have been engaging with the SMT and the educators, and I will be talking to the learners just now, just to encourage them also to assist us in not allowing what we have seen in the past to divide them as students, as learners, because we have a strength to build on. They socialize together, they are friends, and they must not then allow what has happened in the past to tamper with that unity which we have been witnessing over the past period. But also we work with the police to ensure that there is a high visibility in and around Phoenix, Chatsworth, as well as North Hill in Pietermaritzburg, because those are the areas that were engulfed with some racial tensions and killings. And we wanted to make sure that learners feel safe, not only within the schooling premises, but as they commute from home to school and from school to home, there is always police visibility to ensure that they are safe. And it's not about feeling safe. You must also you must see that indeed we are safe. That is why the plan with the police has been very important, to ensure that learners are not only feeling safe, but they can see that they are safe. Their parents can be comfortable that as they let learners go to school, they will come back safe, as it is the case.
Now, MEC, there's a lot of schools in the province that were vandalized and also looted during the unrest. We visited 2 schools last week as eNCA. What will happen to those schools? Will children be able to go back to school?
I can confirm that children are back in those schools. We worked very hard during the past week to ensure that we prepare those schools to open successfully. Where there were incidences of torching of classrooms, we have been able to replace those classrooms or substitute those classrooms with the mobile classrooms to ensure that learners today start with effective teaching and learning. So there is no school amongst the affected ones that is not opening because of the incidents of the past. We have worked within a very constrained budget, but what was important was to protect the right to education of our kids. That is why we had to make sure that we do within the limited means to ensure that those schools are also successfully opening today. And I have been advised on my way here that indeed learners are back in those schools and teaching and learning is continuing.
Thank you so much.
Siyabonga.
So, Gareth, that was the MEC for Education in the province, Mr. Kwazi Mshengu, just basically briefly explaining what they will be doing to ensure safety for both pupils and also teachers in Phoenix and around the province. As you heard, there will be an extensive police visibility around these areas because there are hotspot areas that did experience a lot of unrest, especially here in Phoenix about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it is an area we're watching very, very closely, not just for the way the police are handling situations, but indeed about schools as well. Lethiwe, for the very latest, thanks to you, Lethiwe Mdluli, our reporter, back to her again late in the morning here on eNCA.